Okay, welcome to this new video, and this is kind of a bit of a weird one for me because it's about my documentary making. It's about a little bit about Grange Hill, but not much, or no, a little bit, and it's about my film photography as well, which you'll see me talking about that rather than the pictures this time. So I hope you enjoy. Yeah. Okay, so I'm on my way to the railway station, and today's a bit different. I've got to go to London to do a tiny little job for a big documentary I've been working on, and this will show you how and why documentaries become so expensive for what I'm doing today. So you know, like one train trip for me, £14 plus my time, and just to take 2 photographs. But they're photographs we need because it's cheaper for me to go into London to buy stock footage or stock photographs of what we're doing. So anyway, I'll show you more along the way. Made it into London. I've got 2 photographs I've got to take. The places are both close together. One is in Regent Street, I believe, and the other one is in Denmark Street. And they're both to do with music and recording. One's a recording studio, and one was a place where it was like a folk venue. And the client needs photographs of these just for cutaways. If you don't know what a cutaway is, it's a break where someone's doing an interview and you see another piece of footage. So that could be anything. That could be some flowers or anything like that. It doesn't really matter what it is. But we wanted something specifically to what she was saying. So, and this is why the cost of documentaries is so much. There's so many different things. Just to get 1 or 2 shots, you know, it's costing a day's wage. And that's why it's so expensive. And we try and fit them all in together so we can plan around the shoot which saves us the most money by us being in London for like a whole day filming lots of different things rather than just taking a couple of photographs. Tottenham Court Road, and I've got to get to Denmark Street, and this is somewhere that I remember from my teenage years, and I was big into synthesizers and keyboards and stuff like that, and music, and I basically got to photograph Regent Sound. That's a shop which was also a recording studio. So I'm looking forward to going back down there, a bit down memory lane. And the day that Live Aid was on, we come into London and we actually were in these shops down here. It's not the same type of shops anymore. Back in the day it was more synthesizers and stuff, but nowadays just more general keyboard, guitars, drums, that sort of thing. So it's kind of like a bit of a walk down memory lane. Okay, so I found Lichfield Street, and the actual place we're looking for is just over there in the red, and that used to be a folk club in the 1960s and 70s. My client played there in the 1970s. Now what's interesting about it was she was just about to sign a contract with Island Records, and they wanted to come and see her, and apparently they turned up in a limousine to see her play live before they offered her a contract, and that's where it was. And that's the reason why I'm actually particularly here, and actually also going to Denmark Street to film Denmark Street, because she recorded there before she went to Island Records. So I've finished the photography for the client, and I've come to Highgate. I'm out of breath. I'm going to do the Parkland Walk, or part of it, from Highgate to Finsbury Park, and I've only walked a bit of it before, and I want to do the full length from here. So, and there's lots of memories for me on the way, and I'll explain those as I go. But those who follow my photography blog, you'll see the photographs of this in a week or so, once I've got the film developed. Just walking along here, you wouldn't think you're in London or in North London. It's so quiet, and there's a couple of places I'm trying to find down here. One of them I know where it is. We're going to go past it. So and it's a place I used to come to when I was a child. We used to drive to Highgate and park outside our friend's house, and we then used to go into London and go to things like the Royal Tournament and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna, I know where the house is, and I know where we can view for a bit without actually leaving the path, which is really nice. There's lots of runners about. I'm not one I'm going past now, but I've had lots of runners so far. I'm having to come off the pathway for a bit where I want to film. It's I think a bit too far away from the house I want to film, so I thought I'd take a walk off the path and go to where it is and get a shot, and hopefully not upset or disturb the new owners, obviously. So where we used to come is where the house is on the opposite side of the road with the blue door, and they were relatives of a family friend who used to look after him as a child, and his name was Jim Smith. And I was told as a story as a child that Jim was a Arsenal football fan. And anyway, so I asked one of his elderly relatives about 8 or 9 years ago, oh, Jim liked Arsenal. He said no, he played for Arsenal. So anyway, so I looked him up and I did found him, and he played for Arsenal in 1920, and that's just a beautiful little story of my life, and it's just wonderful to hear about someone who was like that. He then went on after playing football, he went on to be a firefighter in the Second World War, and because he was over the age, I think, to join up for the army or any of the armed forces, so he went to do that instead. And yeah, he has some stories to tell us about that when we were little. This is the map of where I am, and it says you are here, and I've not got very far yet. And I'm going all the way along to Finsbury Park to get I actually get a train back into St Pancras, couldn't I? Rather than the tube. That might be an idea, see what's happening. But yeah, so this is where I am, and it's 1.7 miles in total. Of course, the other thing associated with this path is Grange Hill, because in one of the episodes they did a sponsored walk, and they used a lot of this pathway. Now, I think there's one of the stations that's still got platforms. I think that's part of where they filmed, but I'm not 100% certain. And I can't put any of the footage up because I'll get a copyright strike. But I'll show you the place when I get there. But as I say, I know they used this because I asked in the Grange Hill fan Facebook group, and thanks to them, they told me exactly where to go on this path. So I think I found one of the bits where they filmed Grange Hill. It's one of the old stations where the platforms are still in place. I found this. I've done some still photographs of it, which you'll see in my next video. And oh look, there's a phallic symbol. Oh, there's another one over there. As a lot of you know, this actual channel is about film photography, but this one's slightly different, it being about documentary and a little bit about Grange Hill. And I've actually, just so you know, I've got C200 film in the camera with 24 exposures, and I'm up to about taking 19 shots now. So I've got to kind of like be wary about what I take, because of the I don't know what's to come. I did bring a second film, but I don't want to use it necessarily for that. So for what I'm doing today. So we'll see. But coming up, there's this lovely, amazing like archway of different graffiti and stuff. And you know how much I love my graffiti. And now it's starting to rain, so perhaps I shouldn't have hung around waiting to get those shots. But it's better to get a shot that you want rather than wasting a shot on the roll. So I don't know how much further this is, and I don't know where all the Grange Hill bits were filmed. But I know tonight when I get back, I will be watching the episode to see if I can actually recognise any of the places that they used to film. I know it's kind of wouldn't have changed down here for a long time, but yeah, into a tunnel. So I finished the walk. I'm actually in Finsbury Park now, and I'm just going to head back to the railway station and go back to St Pancras, because I can get a train directly from here now to St Pancras, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's been a good walk. It's been really nice, really enjoyed myself. And see you in the next video.